Welcome to Studio 21. I'm Doug Price. I'm the Dean of Global Education at Tulsa Community College, and today we have a special guest. We have Mr. Fabricio Camacho. He's the General Manager of the University of Georgia Costa Rica campus. So today we have an international visitor with us, and I'd like to say welcome to Oklahoma, and we're glad you're here. I thought I would start off by maybe you could tell us just a little bit about yourself and your role, and then we'll get into some more specific questions as we go through the interview.
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you for the opportunity. This is a wonderful place, a wonderful city. I've been enjoying, everything from the food to the great hospitality from my host family. And well, basically, I'm a tropical forest engineer. That's my background. I study at the National University of Costa Rica, and I got a bachelor's degree in forestry, which in Costa Rica is not so much about the production of wood, but it's more about the conservation and management of our natural resources. Sure. And so that's my background, and I finished my degree back in 2002, and last year I completed a master's degree in environmental leadership.
Congratulations on that.
Oh, thank you. And ever since I graduated from university, I've been working for the University of Georgia. Actually, the University of Georgia has a very strong international program. Our university is one of the 5 top universities sending students abroad. Okay. There is a very, very strong effort on making global citizens, like educating people so that they become global citizens. And for that, we have close to 90 programs around the world, and Costa Rica is one of those programs, actually. So the idea of having a campus in the tropics was once a dream from our president, and now is a reality, and I am the general manager of this facility down in Costa Rica. The facility basically is located in the northern part of Costa Rica. It's like a few kilometers south from the city of Liberia, which is the main city in the northern part of Costa Rica, and it sits in the cloud forest, which we'll talk about later, which is a very, very, very interesting ecosystem that for me is like my dream to work for a university, one of the oldest universities in the United States, and not only work for one big university, but also work in the tropics and in the cloud forest. So it's like my dream job.
Well, I know that you're here in part through working with our faculty here at the Southeast Campus of TCC, in particular Mary Phillips, Mark Swanson, and Terry Whitaker. And so I've heard about you through them, but tell us a little bit about the story of how you came to be acquainted with them and what came out of that work with them.
One of the missions that we have at UGA CR is to basically facilitate programs not only for the University of Georgia students, but for any other university or academic institution around the world. Actually, we have anything from like high school programs to programs here in the academic institutions here in the United States, and also in other countries such as Canada and Spain. And so it's a very international campus. And so every time, almost every other year, we have been basically working towards like advertising our program, okay? And we work a lot through OTS. OTS is the Organization for Tropical Studies, and they are one of our partner institutions. The work that they do is that they organize academic programs and research programs so that they can happen in the tropics. And Costa Rica is one of their, one of the countries where they, have organized programs. And so basically, 3 years ago actually, was the first time when Mary and Mark and Terry came to Costa Rica as part of one of the OTS programs. They have like professional development programs where they invite faculty from different institutions around the world, actually. And Terry and Mary and Mark were part of a group of faculty. And so that was the first time that we became, we knew each other, we met each other, and became involved. And so the result from this program was basically the next year, the incorporation of development of one of the programs here at TCC for going to Costa Rica and participating in one of the academic programs that we, along with OTS, arranged and organized together. And so
I
that
believe
was
Mary took some students last
That's
May
right,
and studied
yes.
abroad. From your perspective, how did that work?
It worked wonderfully. I mean, I
good.
think one of the main things that we have to offer in Costa Rica is to teach the world how, you know, a small country, we're only 4.5 million people in Costa Rica. The country is, it fits almost 4 times in the whole state of Tulsa. It's a very, very tiny country. But we've learned how to, you know, use our ecosystems, our biodiversity for our own benefit, you know, without necessarily extracting things from the ecosystems and from the environment, and without necessarily causing impacts that would last, you know, for a very long time. And so for that, I mean, we have many different options for students, like to go and visit the rainforest, and then visit the cloud forest, and then visit dry forest, which are 3 of the main ecosystems that we have in our area. So basically, Costa Rica has become a leader in terms of sustainability, sustainable development, like organizing the landscape in such a way where people can live without necessarily destroying, you know, the environment or causing long-term impacts. And so I think that the students were able to see that because they went to La Selva Biological Station, which is run directly by OTS. They also went to Palo Verde, which is another biological station in the dry forest, and then they came to us to the cloud forest of Monteverde. And like from my experience, I mean, I always enjoy when we have new groups of students, because, you know, we see them as opportunities for, you know, forming global citizens, basically.
Are there any parallels between ecosystems in Costa Rica and Oklahoma?
Well, the parallel relationship that we have is that the Costa Rica is, you know, is the belly bottom of the Americas, okay? It's located in the very center of the Americas, and it's an area where 4 major biomes converge, okay? The rainforest, lowland rainforest that you'll find in South America, like in the Amazon basin, for example. The dry forest that you find in Mesoamerica, from southern Mexico to northern Costa Rica. And then we have the higher elevations, the Páramo-type forest that you find in the Andes, okay? And there is all transitional areas in between those ecosystems. What I learned from here is that Oklahoma is also a state where 4 major, you know, biomes converge. And so I think like that's one of the main relationships that we have. And I think it's great because in my country, one can be in the morning, you know, on the Pacific coast, and like, you know, just in the middle of the forest, and then in the drive all day, and then in the afternoon be on the Caribbean side, where the ecosystem is completely different. And so I understand that here in Oklahoma, you know, like even though the state is larger than Costa Rica, you can still see, you know, like in less than, let's say, a week, like many different types of ecosystems. And I think that's something that we share from the natural perspective.
So the issue of conservation is really important for our students in general, but they can see that happening in Costa Rica, but then come back and really appreciate that locally and understand and be able to communicate with others.
Exactly.
How that works. Okay.
Yes, one of the things that is very important for us, and I think it's there is a whole movement around the globe, is to basically shorten the gap that we as humans has created with the environment. Okay, it is so important for, you know, for young kids, for, you know, for students, for teenagers to be in touch with our mother nature, with our planet. And like that's something that we try to do so much in Costa Rica, because, you know, that's what we have. I mean, that's where we come from. And I think having the opportunity of seeing, you know, many different types of ecosystems in a very small place is it could be inspiring for many students. We've had students from UGA and from other organizations, and I hope that from TCC as well in the future, and probably already it happened with the first group, that they've changed their whole mind. You know, they changed their vision. Like after they go and visit our country and see how people live and see how the challenges that we have, because it's not everything is beautiful. You know, we also have challenges, and basically that's something that has created enough inspiration to certain people, like basically to even change careers. And sometimes I get emails from, students who are, who are thinking on becoming like, ex-professional, and now like they are field biologists or they are ecologists, or they're thinking on going in that direction. And I think that's the powerful tool that we have in Costa Rica, like that transformational type of, environment that makes people more aware of our connection to Mother Earth.
So what I hear you saying is that, by being in your country and visiting and through study abroad programs, it can have significant impact on our students' learning.
Definitely.
And how they use that knowledge then locally to talk to others about our ecosystem and conservation and biodiversity and all these wonderful topics that you've brought up. I'm a very visual person, and I know that you brought some photographs with you today to share. So I thought we could just maybe go through a few, and you could maybe just lead us and walk us through. And people have been watching this show thinking, oh, that sounds like a wonderful place to visit. So let's kind of take them to Costa Rica for just a moment and look at some photographs.
Okay, that's great. Perfect. So the first photograph that I have here is a picture of the UGA CR campus, okay? So this building that you see here is the student union, okay? And this building here is my office, okay? So